So what's up, guys? Today I think this video will just be a little bit of a test. I'm gonna try a few different camera settings. I'm gonna try and record in 4K on this GoPro and see if I can get everything to be a little bit clearer. We'll get up there, get this thing on the lift, get the coilovers on, maybe put the ammo kit on, and then the only thing from that point is putting some wheels on it, make it look good, get the fender painted, get the hood painted, which my buddy Luke is a body guy. He has basically a paint booth at his house, so hopefully we can make a time and go over there so we can get it knocked out. Today I was going to work on the S13, and maybe I still will, but I'm just not feeling welding, getting dirty. Got some other things I'd like to do. Got some other stuff I need to do, like send some more emails out, write up a thing for Drift Indy, and yeah, maybe get some stuff done on the house. I don't know, maybe just sit on my butt. Just not trying to be in the garage. But we do need to get this done on this car so I can stop thinking about it. I got these parts sitting around. So pulling up now. This is a Ford Escape engine. It's a 2-liter out of a 2014 Ford Escape. It is a closed deck. So it's a semi-closed deck block. There's two versions of this block. So some of them are semi-closed deck like this, and some of them have slits in here. Well, what happens is these slits, if I'm correct, they will expand and contract and blow head gaskets, as well as it makes the block not as strong. You know, if you have a lot of flex between here, and then from what I assume, the piston can move around and cause issues. So I tore this thing apart probably about a month ago. Just too excited to wait. As you can see here, I have a crank, camshafts, pistons, rods, and all that. I took all that out because I'll be fully building this engine. It'll have OEM crank, but it'll be keyed. So these things just have a friction washer, a diamond friction washer that keeps the crank pulley, and the timing gears stationary. And what happens is once you put too much torque through these engines, that friction washer will slip, and it'll cause the slip timing, and it'll cause problems. So we end up going with a keyed crank, manley rods, pistons. I'll go into all this in a different video. I want to put a video out that talks about the partnership I have going on with Speed Performance, and how they've made this decision easy for me. We have a few other parts coming, but we'll talk about that in a separate video. So we'll get to work on this thing. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So I think they put this on upside down. I'm pretty sure this will sit. That wouldn't really make sense, but what is this for? Like, that makes more sense, but then that makes this pointless. Maybe I should stop trying to be such a male and read some damn directions, but I will not be doing that. It's gotta go this way. So I got everything on. This is a pretty good example of cheap coilovers versus something nicer like BC Racing. I had to add about double the preload than I would like just to get the shock to reach because it wasn't long enough. Something kind of stupid, well, something I think is stupid. These guys have from OEM BMW, they have a washer that goes in here that sandwiches it between the inside of the car and the shock tower. and then on the bottom. So you pretty much don't have a choice but to get this nut off, which if you've dealt with this a lot, you'll know that these nuts don't always come off easy, and that's why they have this little spot right here for a wrench, but that always rusts out, and then the amount of torque that is on that nut in comparison to the amount of torque you can put on that wrench spot, it just ends up stripping, so you have to cut it. So if I had to reuse these, I'd be in trouble. I'd have to get a new set. So we'll move on to the front, and hopefully that's easier. Getting in. These things suck, especially splines. Do yourself a favor. I've said it before. Just don't ever get these. They came out in the car. They get a little rusty. They get a little rusty like that, and then this gets rusty, and then it waste of time. Somehow that's higher than stock. Well, good thing I didn't lock the collars down. We're gonna lower this a lot. So something I use to help me is, so, you know, let's say that thing was 3 inches too high. Well, I want to go down and, well, no, scratch that. Let's just say I want to lower this 1.5 inches. Well, it's the same spring rate, same shock on each side, so you can expect that using, how do I say it? Currently it is at full droop, but you can still get a measurement from your fender to somewhere, you know, let's say the center of the hub. Well, I use that as I'm adjusting and all. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and I want to lower it 1.5 inches from where it was. So I will, you know, shorten it, and then I'll continue to measure 1.5 inches. So say this is 32, I will go to 30.5, right? Because, yeah. So I'll change the distance from 32 to 30.5, and when I lower it down, I'll know that I'll be 1.5 inches lower than what I was. I say all that because you can't just assume, so as you can see I'm moving this collar up, you can't just assume that going up 1.5 inches here correlates to 1.5 inches here. That's not how it works, because of the, you know, thread and suspension geometry and all that jazz. So you have to measure from a point. I could only get 1 inch out of it, so I guess it's just gonna be high. Let's try that again. I'm gonna finish up the rear. We'll take it outside and get a little bit of an outside view of the ride height. This will all settle a little bit. Usually it seems like when cars settle, they settle about 1/2 inch. So we'll get out there. I'm gonna finish up the rear. I'll come back to you guys in a minute. Looks decent, I guess. Can definitely tell the front's higher. So it already dries better. I think the stock shocks were just shot. Wow, my arm rests. Look, say that quick. Stock shocks were shot. Stock shocks were shot. Whatever. I forgot about the whole YouTube thing. I was so excited to get out here and start welding. So yesterday, I went ahead and did all the boring stuff. I figured there was no point in recording it. But I got all the seam sealer. I got all the seam sealer out of all these spots. And I started welding. Done quite a bit of welding so far. I'm not gonna act like I know what I'm doing. I'm definitely just welding wherever I see a seam. Getting in there was kind of scary. So yeah, I'll do a little bit of time lapse. I'll set this GoPro up. I'll get to welding. There'll probably be a lot of just boring welding throughout this whole process, but trying to get it done today. Well, I ran out of wire. So now that most of the welding is done, I gotta go through and I'll fix this hole and fix any other rough spots. I know there's some rust right here, so I'll fix some of that. I may wait until I have the engine in the car because it's something, well no, I can't do that because I gotta paint this before it goes. I'll probably not record most of the grinding and just finishing this up. I'll probably start the next video as far as this engine bay goes with sanding, prepping it for paint, and what color I'm gonna go with. Maybe I already said it, hopefully I didn't. Well, I'm over this, so I'm done for today. I'm gonna go edit this video.